Hey, what's going on, Facebook? Fix my hat here. Hey guys, I wanted to bring you guys up to speed here. El Paso Mayor Dee Margo had a press conference. I apologize, guys. I didn't even shave this morning, so um, there's a lot of stuff you need to be uh, brought up to speed on. Okay. First, you guys know me. I don't listen to socialism, tyranny, the socio-Marxist rule rule of laws they're trying to enforce, and I don't embrace this new norm because that means you'll never accept. You're accepting the fact that we'll never go back to the way things were meant to be and the things they were. Okay. Today, on Thursday, October the 15th, El Paso pretend to be Mayor Dee Margo had a press conference in which he is trying to enforce unlawful and unconstitutional edicts, mandates, decrees um, that I'm not listening to. I'm not standing for it. I'm not going to abide by it. I heard something about as of 10 p.m. tonight, we're on lockdown. Well, I'll be out and about as before. And God help the police officer that encounters me and tries to stop me because it is a violation of their oath, and a violation of the Constitution because there's no Texas state law. There's no actual law that the people voted on, nor did the city council put forth on a ballot measure or take a vote on to pass this. Okay. I'm going to read some stuff here. Okay. But before I do, I'm going to read some, and just so you know that I'm not BSing. I do my due diligence because I know and I've studied the Constitution, I've studied law, criminal justice, and other things. I've worked in law enforcement. I was in the military. Okay. You know, I get a lot of my stuff through word of mouth. Then I research that. Okay, so here's a big proponent of where I got a lot of my research from the Constitution of the United States. Okay, some other stuff will be from local news outlets, KVIA. Other stuff would be from the El Paso City Charter. Um, what do you call it? There's also some stuff that Bethany Hatch for Texas put out this morning. You know, as well as some laws, just U.S. laws and whatnot. So what I'm going to read right now, just some food for thought, guys. When I get into this, okay, I'm going to read some stuff that I do my research. Okay, this is what some things to think about with all these unlawful and unconstitutional edicts, mandates, decrees, and what have you. Okay, this was stated by Daniel Webster. Okay, I am committed to the Constitution of the country, and I am committed against everything which, in my judgment, may weaken, endanger, or destroy it, and especially against all extension of executive power. And I am committed against any attempt to rule the free people of this country by the power and patronage of the government itself. That's powerful, guys. Okay. Also, Thomas Jefferson stated, in questions of power, then let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution. Basically, that's just saying everything that I've covered before, that the supremacy clause. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Your little local ordinances, they they infringe on the constitutional rights, the individual rights, not the socio-Marxist mentality that everyone wants to adapt because of COVID-19, because they want safety over liberty. Okay, your personal safety is not a concern or priority of mine. Your rights are. Okay, because you take the rights away now, what's to stop them from doing it again later to create something else? Okay, so another thing, again by Thomas Jefferson. I, however, place economy among the first and most important Republican virtues, and public debt as the greatest of dangers to be feared. To preserve our independence, we must not let our rulers load us with perpetual debt. I am for a government rigorously frugal and simple. That's talking about a little bit something else, but it does still go into with these unlawful lockdowns. Okay, uh, shutting down our economy. That's putting you in perpetual debt, right? The Democrats wanting bailouts for all these failed states because of the Antifa and BLM riots, not peaceful First Amendment activities, but they're riots and criminal activities in failed states. That's putting us in debt. Why should I have to pay for something that Californians are doing deliberately, turning their free state into a communist utopia. I don't care for it. Why am I paying for it? I care about the Constitution and the rights of the people, a free state. Okay? Uh, so here's one more. James Madison. A well-instructed people alone can be permanently a free people. And that's why I'm here. To help make you a permanently free people. You, El Paso, Texas, America. As a veteran, I fought for your rights, for the Constitution, your freedom. I did not fight to depose a tyrant 6,000 miles away, only to come home and face a tyrant 2 miles away. Okay, not on my watch. All right. Now we all know in the Constitution there's a lot of, and it's sad that no one thinks or talks like this anymore, but a very very small few group of people. Not even our politicians, our so-called elected officials. Okay, do they even embrace the Constitution? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring up, and again, like I said, I'm not BSing stuff. I'm bringing it up here. Okay. So when they do a restriction on your freedom of movement, there's a violation of federal law, which we know the Supreme Court in 1803, Chief Justice John Marshall in Marbury versus Madison, and I always reference this because that established the supremacy clause, Article 4, Section 2, or excuse me, Article 6 of the Constitution. Okay, uh, but under that we have freedom of movement and freedom of commerce. Okay, as a citizen, I can move freely about my country. There's nothing you can do to restrict it, not even during isolation or quarantine. Okay, you have due process of law. Okay, and that's one of the points that I have brought up here. Isolation and quarantine. That Dee Margo and some nigger refuse to understand and embrace the law behind it, legality of it, and the definition. Isolation separates sick people, proven to be sick, okay, with a contagious disease from people who are not sick. That means if I have COVID-19 and I had tested willingly, you can't force me to test. But if I willingly take a test and I come up positive, okay, you can isolate me from the general population. Okay? Quarantine, okay, separates and restricts the movement of people who were exposed or believed to be exposed to a contagious disease to see if they become sick. So that means you think that I might be sick because I know someone that is sick. So you're going to try to violate my constitutional rights. I can't work. I can't leave. I can't go to church. I can't go out to the park. I can't go exercise. I can't go shop. I have to stay at home. Okay? Because you have no proof. You only think. And we know that hearsay is inadmissible under the Constitution. You have to have probable cause. Just because I know, associate, or I'm related to someone doesn't make it like legal. Okay? So that's one of the things that I brought up before that these morons in El Paso are trying to do. Under the Supremacy Clause, and I brought this up before, okay, it has been ruled again by Chief Justice John Marshall in 1803 in Marbury versus Madison. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Every law consistent with the Constitution will have been made in pursuance of the powers granted by it. Every usurpation or law repugnant to it cannot have been made in pursuance of its powers. That's basically saying that any laws at the local or the state, the county, okay, municipality, township, whatever you want to call it, that you should pass, if it is in violation or, as they say, repugnant to the Constitution, okay, it is null and void and is not bound to be law. Like, I don't have to listen to it. If they say in Texas, guns now in El Paso, it is unlawful to have a gun. Well, I have the Second Amendment right that supersedes your ordinance. Okay? All right, that's how that works. Because you saying that you don't want guns is repugnant to the Constitution, the law of the land, the de facto law of the land as established in the United States Constitution, Article 6, the Supremacy Clause. Okay? And again, there it is. All right, guys, this is for you. Okay, I'll be a martyr if I have to. I'll fight the tyrants. Okay, but education is the most dangerous weapon. Okay, the more you know, the more dangerous you are to the tyrants because that's less likely that they can take the masses. Okay, so let me read the full context of this. Okay, The Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Okay, that means that all judges, no matter Democrat, Republican, okay, your parties be damned, your agenda be damned. The Constitution is what you have to uphold. Okay, the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Basically saying any laws passed that are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. That's what I just said. Okay? So these mandates, decrees, ordinances under COVID, because it's not in the Constitution, okay, you have no authority. And I'll go into Dee Margo's, what he thinks he has authority of. Okay? Now remember, Dee Margo, okay, all right, the socialist that he is, he violated your First Amendment, okay, when he started this COVID crap. When he shut the churches down, you cannot go to church, okay? First Amendment, okay? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. It does not say or prohibiting the free exercise thereof only unless there's a pandemic. Because remember, the time that our country was founded, we were fighting syphilis, we were fighting smallpox, dysentery, okay, influenza, tuberculosis, hepatitis. Those were all deadly back then. Okay? We won our country's freedom during pandemics. Okay? Okay? Or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. So now you're telling me too, your unlawful and unconstitutional thing that you just recently said, that no home gatherings. You don't have the luxury to tell me what I can and can't do on my privately owned property, in my privately owned home. Okay? The government, you stop at the front door, not even the front door, at the curb. Okay? The public easement is where your authority stops, unless you have probable cause of a crime being committed. Me having family over is not a crime, even under COVID, because there's no constitutional precedence for it. Okay? Article 2, or Amendment 2, the Second Amendment. We know Dee Margo suspended and violated that. Although brief, he shut down the gun ranges and the gun stores, thus stopping you having the ability to arms, the ability to acquire arms, ammunition. Okay? He stopped it. And then he called a lot of crap, and then he finally opened it up. Okay? So that's the First and Second Amendments that Dee Margo has violated under his fake COVID things. Okay? Now here's where Dee Margo will get sued, and I'll be one of the people to go in and as this stuff starts breaking out. The Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Okay? So where due process comes in. One of the things that Dee Margo, or under the city ordinance, Article 10, under enforcement of the El Paso City Ordinance, and it's ordinance number 17380, Section 1, dated August 24th of 2010. Okay? 9.04.600 says general authority. The city may initiate an action to enforce the provisions of this chapter, including legal proceedings to compel compliance. That's ordinance number, it's still the same one, 17.380, okay? 9.04.61, authority to issue citations. The following city officials are authorized to enforce the provisions of this chapter and shall have the power to issue warnings and citations to any persons violating the provisions of this chapter. City manager is designated. Well, let me stop you right there. The city manager is a jerk off, okay? He's not even an elected official, okay? So he has no authority whatsoever, no legal or any type of authority, okay? He's a puppet, okay? Code Enforcement Division, that's up to question, okay? Because they're not law enforcement officers. They're not sworn law enforcement officers. They don't have real legal authority. Police, that's the only people. The police, the constable, the El Paso Police, El Paso County Sheriff, El Paso County constables, Texas DPS, or federal. Okay, but this is city, so this is going to go with El Paso City. So it's El Paso PD and PD only. School police don't count because this is not their jurisdiction. Even though they are certified peace officers in the state of Texas, they don't have authority on enforcing city codes. And then it says fire chief or designees. Well, the fire chief, last time I checked, is not a law enforcement thing. Okay, he's an emergency service person. He puts out fires and does emergency medical services and treatment. So there's no real legal authority for the chief of the fire department to come to my house and give me a ticket because I said, F you, I'm not listening to you, I'm having a party. Okay? So now it says here, the city officials designated above are, quote, authorized to conduct inspections of any property necessary, conduct audits of records and documents required to be utilized and maintained by this chapter, and to investigate instances of noncompliance with this chapter to enforce the provisions of this chapter. If the occupants in possession of any property refuses to allow the city officials permission to enter the property at any reasonable time, those officials shall have recourse to every remedy provided by law to secure entry, including obtaining the proper judicial warrants. Well, here's due process of the law. Me having a party is not violating any crime, okay? Because there's no, under Texas State Penal Code, there's no criminal code. Under United States law, USC is what that is. USC is the United States Code. That's the law. Or CFR, Combined Federal Regulations, okay? There's nothing saying that if I have my privately owned property in my privately owned home, as a private citizen, have a party, a get together, that is subjected to government interference. Okay, so there's violations of the Fourth Amendment right there because you don't have probable cause because there's no crime being committed. Okay, your ordinance is not under the Constitution of the United States, Supremacy Clause, the supreme law of the land, Marbury versus Madison, 1803, Chief Justice John Marshall. No law shall be passed repugnant to the Constitution. In doing so, they will be null and void. Okay, so your city ordinances violate the United States Constitution because, again, only one person is, but then again, that comes up. They're not certified under TCOL to under their certification to enforce that. Okay, like I said, I got notes, guys. Did my research. Okay, so I'm not BSing. This is all for you. Education is power. Okay. This is how you know that this is a big crap storm because the city and county can't get their stuff together, okay? Remember, Dee Margo was, when he enacted his stay-at-home orders, he decided that him and his wife needed a night out in the town, and they went to the country club on the west side. No social distancing, no mess, sitting at a table with people that were other than people that lived in his home, okay? But yet it was okay for him to do this, he says, okay? Samaniego, the moron, that's the county judge, which is not even a judge. He's not, he's just the head of the county. He has no legal authority. He can't sit there and render sentences. He's not a judicial judge. Okay, so just like Veronica Escobar. But anyway, remember when he did his stay at home for the county? His own son had a damn house party, and his big thing was do as I say, not as I do. Just forget about it, and let's just move on. Let's just let me have this one, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start over. No, it's not how it works. Okay, you want to tell me what to do? You're going to do it yourself. You're supposedly an elected official or a so-called leader. You lead by example. Okay, if you served in the military, you'd understand that. Now, KVIA, one of our local news agencies here, posted on or published June 8th, 2020. Keenan Willard is the writer's name. Okay, and this is straight from KVIA's website. El Paso coronavirus testing numbers, quote, counting people twice, end quote, according to El Paso leaders. Okay, there's the whole article I printed up. El Paso, Texas. Not KVIA, KFOX. Okay, KFOX 14. El Paso leaders are concerned that the county is testing fewer people for COVID-19 than the number being reported in its daily updates. Okay. Brief here. Cases last week was actually weeks old information. Quote, I still believe that we are in an upward climb, end quote, said El Paso County Judge Ricardo Samaniego. Quote, a lot of fatalities last week, end quote. Okay? But on Friday, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice told KFOX 14 there hadn't been any new cases at a jail for more than 2 weeks. They're referring to false numbers that came out of the Rogelio Sanchez jail. Apparently, there was 250 some cases that were reported, said Samaniego. That skewed our quote, that skewed our numbers in the community quite a bit. However, when KFOX reached out to the city that following Monday, whether it would confirm Rogelio Sanchez was a facility in the reports, the Department of Public Health said no. Okay. Quote, the name of the facility might not be as relevant as telling you, look, we have specific outbreak in this particular type of facility, end quote, said Dr. Hector Acaranza, the El Paso Public Health quote, Authority. He's not an elected official also, so his legal authority really is non-existent. He's a doctor. Doctors don't have legal authority to do anything. Okay. Let's see. The TDCJ said that it didn't report cases from the jail to El Paso, but to the state. Okay, the state's numbers. On Monday, county leaders brought up a new issue with El Paso's coronavirus reports. Okay, this is very vital here, guys. Quote, it seems there may still be some confusion on the number of people that are tested, end quote, said Commissioner David Stout for El Paso County Precinct Number 2. Although, just a side note, do not vote for him because he's anti-police and he wants to go ahead and do away with our county sheriff's department and law enforcement. So don't vote for that guy. Commissioner Stout asked, quote, you're not counting somebody twice, are you? End quote. And then, quote, well, we do if they are tested more than once, end quote, said Jorge Rodriguez, the deputy chief of the Office of Emergency Management. Okay, quote, but that number is very, very small, end quote. So you got county health officials admitting that they're falsifying numbers. Look, this is how it works. What they're doing is, if I've tested for COVID-19 and I'm positive, I am one person or one case, one test, and that's it. Okay, obviously, throughout my treatment, you're going to keep testing me to see if the virus is weakened, spread, or what have you, and it's going to come back positive to I'm cured, right? So hypothetically, if I get tested 5 times, I'm one patient. Now that's 6 positives. That's 6 cases that they're doing in El Paso. These numbers are false. This is proven by the media itself. You know, I don't like the media. It's been proven. The county has investigated, and a public health official has admitted to it. But yet, we're in a crisis here. And Dee Margo wants to shut down our city by his false numbers, okay? Again, this is knowledge, guys. You need to know this stuff, okay? Bethany Hatch posted today on Facebook, okay? Update. New restrictions coming to El Paso. Mayor Dee Margo, along with emergency management health leaders, scheduled a 9:30 a.m. announcement to impose new restrictions on, quote, activities in our community to slow the spread, end quote. A statement from the city said, quote, these strong restrictions are necessary and must be enacted, end quote. It did not specifically indicate what new mandates would be enacted. And that was the source, KBIA or ABC7 here in El Paso. All right. These are the restrictions that Dee Margo ironically had cut out of his speech during his little press conference, okay? Okay, put this over here. All right, isolation. Okay. What Dee Margo wants to do, okay, these are some of the things, okay? Occupancy is rolled back to 50% for all here we go again, non-essential businesses. First off, nobody has the authority to deem somebody not essential. What's essential to you, or is not essential to you, could be essential to me, okay? Just because I'm not a doctor or a police officer during this doesn't mean that my right to provide for my family is, doesn't exist. Okay. Restaurants must close by 9 p.m. except for takeout and drive-through. So there you go. Limiting their ability to make money. You also limit, restricting access to services. Okay. Gatherings in parks are limited to 10 or less. Now they're telling you how to hang out with people. But then again, you can't hang out with people. What's going on? Indoor sports are canceled. No spectators for outdoor sports. But this does not apply to UTEP sports or the locomotives. Funny how Dee Margo put that, considering the fact that he's the one that screwed us with this damn useless stadium. Okay? The one that we're paying more, like hundreds of millions of dollars of our tax money to support a stadium that we didn't even want. And that's his puppets. Okay? Because Dee Margo is a puppet. His puppet masters are the ones pulling the strings, the Hunts, the Fosters, and all the elite of El Paso. That's why he's doing it, so they can still make money. Advertisements, the team contracts, okay? That's what they're doing this for. Not you. Not the city of El Paso. Just look at the damn trolley. Oh, it serves only a hand select people going from downtown to UTEP. I live all the way out at the border of Horizon in El Paso. I'm paying for it through my taxes. How am I getting use of it? It's so bad that not many people were riding it and people were commenting on it. The city actually blacked out their windows so you can't even look in to see how empty it is. So now you're wasting our tax dollars. You're paying people to operate the vehicle, to maintain the vehicle, the electricity to run it. We're in debt for that project, not to mention the hassle of digging up downtown. Okay? So here's the kicker. No home gatherings are permitted. I don't need your permission to have people at my house, Dee Margo. I'm a private citizen. I'm a grown-ass man. But yeah, here you go. You can do whatever the hell you want, like you did with your stay-at-home decree. But yeah, you're out having, cocktails at a damn social club or the country club with your wife and your chums. No mask, no social distancing. Everyone's non-essential, but you can go there and help out the ritzy, fancy, rich country club you belong to. Yeah, 6 separate Tyrannies, moron. And then reminder, Halloween trick-or-treating will not be allowed. Well, here's the thing, guy. We don't care what you said. Okay? That's not a law. You can't impose that. So you can't impose that and enforce it. Okay? Trick-or-treating will happen this year. Guarantee it. Especially up around my neighborhood. It'll be happening. Just send your goons, okay? I love and support my law enforcement. I served in law enforcement. My dad is a 33-year veteran of the Philadelphia Housing Authority Police. So I greatly appreciate and respect law enforcement. But do something unlawful and unconstitutional. See what happens. Okay? It's called accountability. Now, I'm going to cover this again, Dee Margo. You think you know what you're doing, okay? You think you know what you can do. But under the El Paso City Charter, and I keep bringing this up because this needs to be educated revamped here so you guys can hear it. Under the El Paso City Charter, okay, Chapter 4, okay, or Section 4, excuse me, is entitled Powers and Duties of the Mayor. There's only 3 things, okay? 3 things. 4.1 is the powers of the mayor. 4.2 is the duties of the mayor. 4.3 has nothing to do with the mayor, but the mayor pro tempore. So I won't even cover that, okay? And just so you know, I'm not BSing. This is located on the El Paso City government's website, www.elpasoTexas.gov/mayor/powers-and-duties-of-the-mayor. Okay, that's the website. Okay? Powers of the mayor. Okay? This is where it's vital, okay? The mayor shall be recognized as the head of the city government. Now, here's where it goes. For all ceremonial purposes and by the governor for purposes of military law, but shall have no administrative duties except as may be specifically provided in this charter. He's the Queen of England. He has no authority. El Paso City Council, city government usurped the power of the mayor to the city manager, who's just as corrupt. Okay? All right? So now the mayor shall be a member of and preside over the city council, having the power to propose legislation. That's it, propose. Represent the city in governmental and intragovernmental relationships, appoint with the consent of the council the members of citizen advisory boards and commissions, make appointments, and perform duties pursuant to federal and state law. Show me a state law, a federal law that says you can put your people under unjust, unconstitutional quarantine. You can send non-law enforcement certified personnel to give a ticket, arrest them, kick in their doors because you don't like what they're doing. Because they're gathering because you said, no, you can't gather. Because your morons are providing false narratives. Okay? But funny, we can go vote now, but I can't have people at my house. I can't have people in close proximity at my house, but I can go out in the public in the masses and go vote. I can go to certain establishments like Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, big box stores, but I can't go to the little mom and pop store to promote local business because they're non-essential. But Walmart is essential because they're giving kickbacks. Okay? Present an annual State of the City message, break tie votes, veto legislation except for any city council action which removes the city manager. You can't remove a guy that's not even an elected official. And you're the leader of the city of El Paso. Interesting. Convene the council in special session and perform other duties specified by the council. Okay. Now, 4.2, duties of the mayor. Under the authority of the council, the mayor shall sign all lawful acts of the council. Lawful, which means within the confines of the Constitution, the law, the supreme law of the land. Now, I know some people are going to argue, I believe it's Article 10 of the Constitution. That doesn't apply here because remember, the Supremacy Clause supersedes that, saying that all laws must be in compliance with the Constitution. You can pass whatever you want for the state, but if that state mandate, local mandate violates constitutional rights, freedom of movement, freedom of religion, freedom of, the right to bear arms, freedom of expression, the press, due process of law, search warrants, and what have you, you can't do anything. Okay? Such as ordinances, resolutions, conveyances, grant agreements, plats, contracts, and bonds. The council may by ordinance provide that additional designated officials may sign such acts of council on behalf of the mayor as provided by law. The mayor shall have the sole authority to appoint and remove the mayor's executive secretary and executive assistants. That's all you can do. That's per the city charter of the city of El Paso, Texas. Okay? Nothing in here says that you can deem somebody or their business essential or non-essential. Nothing says you can tell people that you can't have at your privately owned property in your privately owned home. As a private citizen, you can have people at your residence. Nothing says that you have authority to do this. Okay? Also says that you can't use your police to go enforce things that aren't even a law. Interesting. It's corruption. Okay? Here we go under again the Commerce Clause and the Freedom of Movement Clause. Locking people down. Okay, me going to my in-laws' house, my friend's house down the street, having a get together. That's freedom of movement. So that's covered. The right to travel domestically under federal law. The right of Americans to travel interstate in the United States has never been substantially judicially questioned or limited. In 1941, the court declared unconstitutional California's restriction upon the migration of the so-called Okies, whose travails are famously documented in the Grapes of Wrath. Justice Douglas referred to the right of freedom of movement, or free movement, as a right of national citizenship, and the rights of these migrants were upheld under the Commerce Clause. The Privileges and Immunities Clause protects the rights of U.S. citizens who are each also the citizens of a state against discriminatory treatment under the law of a different state. Okay? Now, it's a little extreme. That's basically like if I go to New Mexico and New Mexico says that I can't enter because I'm from Texas and Texas has a high COVID rate, they don't have the authority to do that because that's what supersedes that. But this also applies right here. This is the key point of this, okay? Under all this. The baseline then is that the freedom of movement within and between states is constitutionally protected. There you have it, folks. Dee Margo, socialist and chief of the city of El Paso. Okay, now here's another thing. The 8th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Me having my family at my house, having a party, that is a cruel and unusual punishment. You're punishing me for having family at my home when there's no federal law saying that you can impose anything that says I can't. Threaten a jail time, like when he did with the masks. Was it a $1,000 fine or 6 months in jail or both? That's cruel and unusual. because there's nothing saying that you have the authority to do this under federal law, state law. Okay. Let's keep going here. 14th Amendment. Yeah, there you go. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws. There you go, Dee Margo. Violating the Constitution. You are the traitor. You're an enemy of the state. You're an enemy of the people of El Paso. I'll let you know, I didn't vote for you. I didn't vote for Oscar Leeser. We're screwed either way. Okay? And I'll catch hell for it. I don't care. Because you are a puppet. You sold your city out to the highest bidder. Okay? You sat behind knowingly and willingly as the county falsified and illegally did this to reports because of your anti-Trump agenda. Okay? All right? This is why you're doing this. You know, you're trying to make yourself look good, that you're going to be the hero and that you're doing it for our own good. But yet, nothing you're doing is for the good because, again, your numbers have been proven, stout. I can't trust that guy as far as I can throw him, nor can I trust Samaniego, as corrupt as he is as well, to stay at home. But yet he's out of town. Like you said, he's out of town. How are you going to impose all this stuff if you're not even here? Do as I say, not as I do, right? A classic socialist agenda. Alinsky's rules for radicals. Accuse others of doing what you yourself are doing. Okay? Rise up, El Paso. Okay? Stop being a sheep. Okay? Look at China. Okay? They force their citizens to wear masks. Okay? They restrict their freedom of speech. They restrict their access to information, the internet. Zuckerberg doing that to Facebook, censoring posts unconstitutionally. It's a private source, but guess what? You don't reserve the right to do that. Okay? So Dee Margo's threatening to have law enforcement visit you for not complying to his quarantine orders. I brought it up already. You need to know the legal definition and the differences between isolation and quarantine. Isolation is for someone who's proven sick. How do you get proven sick? You willingly take a test. You can't force a test on anybody who doesn't want to be tested. Okay, that's why contact tracing is unconstitutional. Okay, just like Big Brother. Big Brother and the so-called Patriot Act, which is unconstitutional. I, as a veteran, take that as a slap in the face that you're calling it an act of patriotism to spy on your own people. Not one terrorist was captured in the United States of America, just like with the useless TSA. TSA's only function was to stop terrorists from getting on airplanes and capture terrorists. They have not caught one terrorist to date. Okay, Big Brother, the Patriot Act has not captured one terrorist. Now I want to bring this up with this whole COVID stuff. Okay, months ago, Harvard University's chief of the I can't even pronounce it, but the epidemiology or something, the virology basically department, Dr. Charles Lieber was arrested by the FBI for having money and ties to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, with him, which was arrested, was a female spy. She was a lieutenant for the PLA, the People's Liberation Army. Okay, that's the Chinese military. She was a female lieutenant. She was caught, she was interrogated, and she was arrested on espionage. Okay, with them also was captured a Chinese national here on a student visa, was caught fleeing Boston's Logan Airport with 21 vials of viral research. It has been documented and proven. Charles Lieber was taking money from CCCP. His research was tied to the Wuhan lab. Okay, the virus comes out. He's a virology expert. He's studying it at one of the most prestigious universities in America and the world, perhaps. Okay, a student from China caught leaving with research material and vials. A female spy, lieutenant for the Army of China, who is also a bioweapons person, an NBC, the U.S. Army's NBC specialist, or CBRNE now, whatever they call it. All right, you don't hear nothing about this, But you hear how evil Donald Trump is. You hear how contradictory Dr. Fauci is. He's a flip-flopper. There's also photos of him saying that you need to social distance, you need to wear a mask. He's at the freaking Washington Nationals baseball game sitting next to two of his chums, no mask. But I have to stay at home. I'm not essential. I can't work. But you want to force the welfare state by forcing people to be on unemployment. This is only crippling our economy just to go after Trump. So I'm sorry this is long, guys. This is over 40 minutes, but it's very informative, okay? I did this for you guys. I know there's only like up to 5 people that watch this right now, but share this, make this go viral. I'll put this on my YouTube channel as well. But like it, comment, share. This needs to get out, guys. Dee Margo is unacceptable. Samaniego is unacceptable. Stout's unacceptable. Veronica Escobar is unacceptable. Okay? All these people are selling us out to the globalist agenda. All right? It's been proven and documented that the city and county of El Paso leadership has falsified and deliberately lied to you, the people, we the people. All right? That this is not as serious a matter as it is. They have admitted to counting people twice. As I explained, if I am a patient, I get tested. I'm one patient. So that's one case, one positive test. That's it. Whether you test me 50 times until I'm cured, that's only one positive that you legally can test me or document. Okay? All right? That's all you can do. But because you test me 5 times, you're now reporting one patient, 6 tests. Because remember, one patient, 1 test. 5 more times, that's 6 tests total. That's 6 positives. Imagine what that would do. Like what it's doing in El Paso. We're a city of what, like 680, 700,000 people, and supposedly by the numbers that came out today, we're and right now 600,000, say 700,000 people. We're about 6,000 and change. We're about less than 1% infected, because 10% would make it about 60, 70,000. Okay, think about that. El Paso, Texas, the United States, did not make you wear a mask, did not shut your business down, did not violate your First Amendment to freedom of religion to exercise your religion and shut your churches, did not violate your Second Amendment to limit you access to guns, firearms, and ammunition and training, okay, because of the virus. They didn't, and on another note too, doing this whole Black Lives Matter and Antifa bull crap here in El Paso when they wanted to go against El Paso PD, which I, as an oath keeper, proudly towed the line with El Paso PD. And me and my oath keepers, we stood the line with our El Paso PD and put down Black Lives Matter, Brown Berets, and Antifa, okay, back in June and July, okay? But it's okay for you to go ahead and cause harm, disobey social distancing, have intent to cause felonies by arson, looting, assault, threatening people, okay? Not peacefully assembling. Peacefully assembling is not blocking the streets, lying down in the middle of the streets, taking over city parks to the point where El Paso PD has to pepper spray to disperse you after giving you several lawful orders to disperse because you did not have a permit to have a large assembly in a city park. Yeah, but they're peaceful, though, because they're protesting against Trump and against the very fabric of decency in our society. They can do it, though. They're exempt because protesters and, well, let's call it, they're rioters, okay? That's what they are, staged actors, paid actors by George Soros and Bloomberg, okay? They're okay to carry out their agenda and do what they do because they're impervious to COVID-19. But when you do anything that's against their agenda, yeah, we have to shut it down. Yep. Religion, it's offensive, so we have to stop it. Guns are scary because guns kill people, despite the fact that you have to pull a trigger to kill. So that means that a person has to manipulate it. So that person has to have intent to shoot. I'm a firearms instructor. Okay, NRA certified. I've done countless amounts throughout the last 6 years. Okay, of firearms instruction. Never once did I have a gun ever shoot me. Or any of my students shoot themselves or other people. Funny how that works. I've never had a gun in the Army, a firearm in the Army, and I was a machine gunner for 3 years. I also carried an M4. I've never had my firearm discharged without me squeezing the trigger. It's funny how that works. Okay, so this is all a scheme, guys. Okay, but you notice how he did all this, but yeah, he put out in the press release, yeah, but you need to go vote still. It's because you want them to vote Democrat like you, because you're not a Republican, you're not a conservative. Conservatives are not for shutting down the economy. They're not for restricting the freedom of movement, the free exercise of religion, speech, press, assembly to address grievances with our government, the Second Amendment, okay, due process of law. They're not conservatives aren't for having law enforcement put in a position that they have to decide to carry out their do their duties unlawfully and keep their job, or or what have you. Like you're trying to do. Firemen are not sworn law enforcement officers. They have zero authority to execute any laws. Okay, even under your bullshit city ordinance. Because again, Chief Justice John Marshall in 1803, Marbury versus Madison, no law shall be passed that shall be repugnant to the United States Constitution. Any such laws shall be rendered null and void. Look it up. Marbury versus Madison, 1803. Okay, look at the opinion and the ruling by Chief Justice John Marshall. Okay, this is what established the Supremacy Clause and what kept the United States, the Supremacy Clause and the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. Anything that city, the county of El Paso, Socorro, San Eli, Fabian, all these little, towns or whatnot, whatever they pass does not apply if it violates the Constitution. Okay, nowhere in the United States Constitution does it make reference to quarantines. Does it set a precedence for the legal authority to violate the rights of the people to take away and suppress their religion, freedom of religion and exercise thereof, to restrict access to the firearms or ammunition, which is violating the Second Amendment, restricting or violating their due process of law. Okay, because again, me having a party is not breaking a law because I didn't vote on it, you didn't vote on it. State of Texas didn't put anything into the law, and the United States government didn't put anything in the law. Let's look at here, okay? Mandates, decrees, ordinances, not law. They're not law. United States Constitution, USCs, United States Code, CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. That's what it was, not combined, but Code of Federal Regulations. Those are laws under the Supremacy Act, the Supremacy Clause. Okay, so I've done my due diligence, guys. I pray to God that things get better, but I doubt they are. Okay. I just want to leave you with this and think of, hoping you watched all this. Okay. All right. This comes from the beginning of our Constitution, what George Washington read to his troops right before he retook New York. Okay. We hold these truths to be self evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. Okay? That means we the people have the power. Okay? Vote out the socio-Marxist Dee Margo, but don't vote for the left-leaning Oscar Leeser. Okay, your best bet is writing your dog's name on the ballot. Okay, because Oscar Leeser's a Democrat, he's going to be beholden to the Democrat ideologies to get rid of our police. Okay, get rid of Stout as county commissioner. Okay, because he's for getting rid of our police. Um, you know, go ahead and get rid of Veronica Escobar because she's an anti-American way of life. She's pro-abortion, pro-illegal entry, and pro-destruction of our moral fiber of this country. Okay, all right. Keep Donald Trump in office because he's fighting for us. Support your local patriots. Okay, all right. Like I said, I have no problem being a martyr. Okay, I took an oath of this Constitution to protect and defend. I'm doing that now by educating you guys. I don't care about censorship. I'll find other ways. You're not going to stop me. Okay? People know me. I don't care. It's nothing they can do. Nothing they can do to me. Threaten me with jail time. Oh, okay, I'll get out. I'll start back up. I'll go back in. Doesn't matter. Okay? You're not going to silence me. Okay? And by the way, just keep this in mind, guys. Chris did not Epstein himself. Okay? Just keep that in mind. I just want to throw that out there. I did not Epstein myself. Okay? I got things to do. Got big plans. I'm here for you. You El Paso, you Texas, you America. Okay, there's plenty more like me. Okay, I'm going to catch a lot of hate. I love hate because one, all you're doing is helping my numbers go up. Two, it shows your ignorance and your loyalties are to the socio-Marxists instead of the Constitution and the American way of life. I don't embrace this new normal because that's what they want. They want you to forget the Constitution. They want you to forget your freedoms because it's for the greater good. You need to think about other people's safety and health over your selfish rights. Well, the Constitution was set for individual liberties, not the masses. Okay, your individual liberty was more important to our founding fathers than saying, you know what, our community is better off by having this. No, you are better off for having the Constitution. And you're better off for having patriots like me and many others like me that are willing to educate you, take time out of their day, take your chastising and ridicule, okay? Because I live by sic semper tyrannis, and thus to the tyrants, okay? And I stand by my statements that I've made in the past. We need to remove Dee Margo. We need to get someone actually that cares about El Paso in this country. Hey, Deborah, how's it going? I'm actually finishing up here, but make sure you go ahead and watch the video once I post it. It's going to go here on Facebook. I'm going to post it to different groups, and then I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. This needs to get out, though. This needs to go viral because Dee Margo is selling us out. He's violating the Constitution, which El Paso City Ordinance doesn't matter. Okay, the Constitution of the United States matters. That's the only thing that matters. Because remember, everything gets trickled down from the Constitution down. Okay? The federal government doesn't check to El Paso. El Paso checks to the federal government. Okay? Well, not the government, but federal law. Okay? The Constitution is the supremacy clause, the supreme law of the land. That's why we have a court system, even here in El Paso, as liberal as it is. We have courts. We have precedences that were established through the Constitution. Okay? The United States Senate, the United States Congress, and the President of the United States does not care what Dee Margo says or thinks or feels, or what he tries to rule. Only unless it's unconstitutional, which he has done everything to date. I've already told you guys about the conspiracy and the false numbers that they're doing. Okay? I guarantee what's happening, whatever, here's what you do. Whatever El Paso reports for COVID-19, divide that in half. Because again, like I said, and you can research this yourself, look up on Google, KFOX 14 News, June 8th, 2020. It's an article by Keenan Willard entitled El Paso Coronavirus Testing Numbers Counting People Twice, according to El Paso leaders. County Commissioner Stout asked the Deputy Chief of the Office of Emergency Management, Jose Rodriguez, quote, "You're not counting somebody twice, are you?" End quote. To which Rodriguez responded, quote, "Well, we do if they are tested more than once," end quote. But then he adds, quote, "But that number is very small, but very, very small," end quote. What sense does that make? That's fulfilling an agenda. You're stacking stats that don't exist, creating a pandemic that doesn't exist. Because again, we won our independence during smallpox, tuberculosis, hepatitis, dysentery, diphtheria, okay, influenza, okay, hypothermia, all that stuff. Battle Valley Forge, biggest case of it, okay? We reestablished and re-won our country during the Civil War. Hepatitis, tetanus, tuberculosis, influenza, hell, syphilis, gonorrhea, all that stuff. They're viruses. Okay? We didn't cave in. Now, let me ask you guys something. There's a huge AIDS pandemic. We know you can contract it. Okay? Do you wear a mask if you have AIDS or HIV? Do you wear a mask? Do you social distance? I know people say, well, there's treatments for it. That's true. There's treatment for COVID-19. It's called hydroxychloroquine. remdesivir. Okay? Donald Trump has even said he's going to make it free for everyone. But it doesn't fit the agenda of the left because that's taking big pharma money, and that's who backs the liberals. So we didn't, under influenza, every year, under influenza, do you social distance? Do you wear a mask? When statistically proven and scientifically proven, you have a far greater chance of dying from influenza A, influenza B, than you do COVID-19. Interesting. But you don't wear a mask, though. And I don't want to hear this crap. Oh, it's because there's a shot for it. You know, there's treatment out there. It's just the Democrats don't want it out there to be given out to the people. So keep this in mind, guys. Here's what you need to do. If you really love America, you really love your children, you really love your nation, you love your freedom, okay? Do not give in to the socio-Marxists. Say no to the liberals. Don't vote for Dee Margo. Don't vote Oscar Leeser. Vote for the bad, okay? It's the lesser of two evils on that one. And I'm going to tell you now, I didn't vote for them. I didn't vote for any of them, okay? Because we're screwed either way. It's just how bad you're going to be screwed. Okay, one's a Democrat, one's a socio-Marxist rhino. Okay? All right, and I hope he sees this, and I hope he comments, because I would love to debate him. I would love to debate Dee Margo on his thoughts of the constitutionality. And that's a debate with Dee Margo, not the city prosecutor, the district attorney, or the city attorney. I did my homework. Do yours. Do your own research. You prove to me and the people that you have authority under. Where's it at? Under the El Paso City Charter, because there it is. I copied and pasted it right from there. And there's the website. Okay? That's all it says about your roles and responsibilities and duties. Nothing about quarantine and telling people that they can't have family over, but yet you can go ahead and do these things that you don't want us to do, get caught, and then you make excuses for it. Just like Samaniego, who had his son have a house party almost the day after, or close to the time after he did a stay at home. And he's also not here in El Paso staying at home. He's out traveling, like you said in your interview this morning here on this 9:30 this morning here in El Paso on October the 15th. Okay? I did my homework. United States Constitution. That's the only thing. That's the only law. None of this crap here that you think you're doing. Okay? I've told you the legal definition and the legal examples of isolation and quarantine and how you're violating them. Told you about the numbers. KFOX 14 reported the false numbers that you're giving out. Okay? The violation of the Constitution under the Commerce Clause and the Fifth Amendment under the Freedom of Movement Clause. All right there. That's the highlighted parts that I was talking about. Not the whole thing, but all those. Okay? Talked about Article 10, Article 10 enforcement under the City Ordinance number 17380, Section 1, dated August 24, 2010, called enforcement. Police are the only ones that have authority, not firemen or the fire chief. Code enforcement, that's very, very iffy. Okay, and the city manager has no legal authority because he's not an elected official. He's not a law enforcement official. You show me the legal authority, the statutory authority that he has under Texas state law, under city law. Show me his police, his law enforcement, his TCOL certification, as well as the code enforcement and the fire chief's TCOL certification that they can issue me a citation. I'll wait. Okay? You also, under City Ordinance 17380, Section 1, you talk about going ahead and violating the Fourth Amendment due process of law under the Constitution because you don't want people to do what they want. You want them to comply to you. That ain't going to fly or skip. You also said Halloween, no trick-or-treating wouldn't be allowed. Well, yeah, good luck on that one. All right. Election polling places are unaffected by restrictions. It's funny. I guess election voting doesn't cause COVID-19, but having family over, trick-or-treating, restaurants, you can't go to restaurants after 9 o'clock, being Being non-essential, having 50% occupancy out of a non-essential, which there's no legal definition or legal constitutional authority saying who's non-essential and essential. Because last time I checked, we have an economy. We're a capitalist-based society that every person is essential. Because let's face it, you want to get paid, you want to give your kickbacks to your puppet masters. You can't do that if you keep telling people they're not essential because they can't work. Okay, right? Let's just face it. So, social gatherings and parks. Well, here's the deal, Chief. You don't have the authority to tell me what I can and can't do in public because I'm in public. Okay, a public park, City of El Paso Park, is maintained by the city through my tax dollars, so it's my park. I don't have to listen to that. And I'd love to see any cop try to stop me because, again, that's the law. All right. Indoor sports are canceled. No spectators for outdoor sports. But it doesn't apply to UTEP or the locomotives because, God forbid, the crap shoot of a stadium you stuck us with, okay? You have to help make revenue to pay your puppet masters. UTEP, you're beholden to UTEP because you're going to get a kickback from them. Obviously, that's how that works. I know politics well enough to know this. So it's funny how your financial well-being and your puppet master's well-being, like the Woody Hunt, Paul Foster, and all the people that you're beholden to, okay, they got to get their end over me, who actually works for a living, okay, who actually did something with my life as a veteran, okay. So yeah, that shows your true colors there. And then last but not least, I'm going to reiterate Chief Justice John Marshall in 1803, Marbury v. Madison, established the supremacy clause of the United States Constitution, rendering all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Every law consistent with the Constitution will have been made in pursuance of the powers granted by it. Every usurpation of the law repugnant to it cannot have been made in pursuance of its powers. It's a big FU to Dee Margo and all the efforts you're trying to do to shut us down. Six Semper Tyrannis, rise up, depose all the tyrants. Dee Margo, Oscar Leeser, Veronica Escobar, Stout, Samaniego, get rid of them all. Okay, vote Donald Trump, Irene Almendarez Jackson, Bethany Hatch. Okay, Judge PMG, Phyllis Martinez Gonzalez, get her in there. All right. We need to retake our society, guys. Let's do this. God bless. I love you. Stay safe. I did not Epstein myself. Screw the tyrants. I'm gonna keep doing this. I have nothing but time. The more you want to play Boom Boom Kitty F games, I'm willing to play. Okay? I'm not going anywhere. Debate me, Dee Margo. Let's do this.